Hi, I'm Olivia. I'm the Southern Yankee Stitcher, and this is my Flosstube number 28. Thank you for tuning in. To all those new, welcome, and to all my friends out there, welcome back. It's been a few weeks since I've done a video again, and I've had a lot going on. um, a lot going on in our family, and just I'm gonna do all that at the end. If y'all want to hear my life update, that'll be at the end. If you just want to be here for stitching, I'm just going to just jump into stitching in because I might be talking a while about my life update. Lots going on. Excuse me. So I did get a good bit of stitching. I feel like I did anyway. And one of the charts I worked on, Prairie Schooler, almost everything I've been working on is Prairie Schooler, is the button-up chart. Which side's going to be better? And I just got a little bit done on this. I didn't work on it a lot. It wasn't in a real wintry stitching mood, I guess. But I have to stand up. Last time I just had a little bit done, I think, in the corner of this square, so I got that whole one done there. And so I have 4 more squares to go. I really like it. I think it's cute. It really makes me think of my childhood, playing in the snow. I did all those things. And anyway, that's my button up sampler. Not sampler, just button up. Alright. Then I did my monthly pieces that I put in my office at school, and I stitched and completed June here. You know what kind of bird that is? I didn't look it up, but I'm curious. And I just barely started July. I'll show you that. June I have not fully finished, but it's a real quick to finish these. There's June. And then I'll finish it. It goes in that's like a frame in a frame on my office door. And barely started July. Right there. In fact, I did this just in the waiting room of the doctor's office. I don't have time for it. It calls back really quick. Seems to work out that way. That when I don't have stitching with me, I'm waiting forever, but when I have it, it goes quick. So I need to always bring stitching with me. It seems to work. Then I went ahead and sorry. I started a new chart. I had this kitted up for quite a while, and I just decided to start it. I hadn't talked about starting this, but excuse me. This reminds me of summer. Probably just because I would sit and swing on my swing set as a kid and sing this song. And where it says that how's it go? I have to sing the whole thing to get to the right verse. The queen was in the parlor eating bread and honey. That queen up there, that queen of hearts, I can't point to the right place right there. That's the queen that I pictured when I was singing this song while swinging on the swing set. So this is like childhood and memories to me, not just the charts. I'm stitching this on a 36 count linen in the color cream. Just kind of basic. And this is going really fast. So there will be 4 and 20, also known as 24 blackbirds on this one when I'm done. This chart, hold on, I gotta find something for you. Let's do this ahead of time. I think I may have miscounted. 22 or 23 colors in this. But the thing is, so many of the colors, I've only used 3 colors so far in what I've done. No, I'm sorry, 4 colors. I've used 4 colors so far in this. The black, the like dark pink, this little lighter pink, and then the gray. It's all DMC, called for. But when I first kitted this up, I wasn't thinking, first of all, because I bought all 23 or 24 colors. I didn't have much of a stash when I kitted this up. That's how long it's been. But some of them you only have maybe, oh my goodness. I have to turn the ringer off my phone. Some of them, sorry about that, you only have, maybe 10 stitches with that color. If I really thought about it, well, now I definitely have more of a stash. I would just pull colors because it's not going to matter. These few little stitches. Here's all the colors I got for that chart. Good. Kind of funny. I might be done that by next time. Now that I say that, I won't be, right? That was a lady from my church. I'll have to call her back. We have Bible school going on this week. I know that's what she's calling about. Let's see. Then I had another one that I stitched. Let me take this out. This is called Sweet Land of Liberty by Sandy Whitlow of the Humble Stitcher. And it was in the, looks like 2016 summer issue of Punch Needle Primitive Stitcher magazine. I wanted to do something patriotic. And I thought, well, this will stitch up pretty quick. I'm pretty sure that's what that is, 2016 down there. And I stitched it and finished it. This little bamboo cutting board I got from a co-worker, a little Christmas gift or something, and it had a pack of like drink napkins tied with a pretty bow. In fact, here's the bow. The napkins were pink and this color green, and I've had it for years, thinking, maybe I'll have occasion to use it, or I was thinking maybe I'd regift it because I just hadn't used it. I have a lot of cutting boards, but I used Velcro that's made stick-on fabric on this. I feel like I'm going to have to replace it. But I just put it on there with Velcro. I used my little quarter, and I watched Bahana Piper's video again because I didn't want to make a mistake. Because my corners weren't perfect, and so this kind of hides it, recording. But it's a nice little finish on it. And I just thought this was so cute. So everything was a stitch from stash. This is the same fabric that I stitched the monthly pieces on. It's an 18 count Aida. And so I did 1/1, of course, it's Aida. 18 count, I think it's like a natural color or something. It comes in long tubes at Hobby Lobby. I changed the colors of the flowers a bit. What did they call for? But you can see they were red and blue, the flowers. And I wanted to put a little bit of yellow in there. Brighten it up. After I put this all together, I realized I never stitched the eyes of the birds, but these are stitched, and you can't hardly tell. They're stitched the color of the fabric, so I don't think it matters. Sweet Land of Liberty. The colors I changed out for, let's see, the color of the house, I used DMC 115, which is a variegated red, and I used that all the red on here. The lighter blue on the edge of this, and the birds is, no, the roof and the trim is 317. The trim around the windows is 7. The white on the flag is B5200. The green for the flowers is 367. And the words and the birds are 311. So, on that. I think that's it as far as my stitching goes. I mean, I have some haul here to show you, and some charts I wanted to share with you. But that's all that I actually worked on in these last 3 weeks. So I did visit Stash Unload. That's a Facebook page I just recently joined. I didn't join it before because, you know, I was trying not to build a stash and spend too much money. Excuse me. Well, that didn't work. So I got a couple of charts. This one, this Halloween chart. My oldest daughter loves Halloween, so I thought I might stitch this up for her as a gift. Her birthday's in July. She might get that in July. I don't think I'll put the words on there, though. They say, thoughts of screeching owls and scary black cats that prowl with witches in big, pointy hats. I don't know. I mean, it's a cute verse, but I think she'd like it better without the verse. She doesn't go for cutesy at all. And that'll be easy. I just need to find some pretty fabric, and I'll probably just use DMC 310. I also got from Cricket Collection, from the Cross-Eyed Cricket, this chart. It's called The Inheritance. And it has, I like this girl in here with the quilt, but I also like this one. Over the river and through the woods to grandmother's house we go. So I like both of those charts. There's some Flosstuber I was watching, I forget who, and she said she liked getting the older charts because she likes seeing the old price tags on them. That one's from Aunt Mary's. It was $4. The date on this is 1988. But I really like it. From the same seller, I got this one, and I love all the charts on this one, especially the Eagle and Uncle Sam. And this, for a date on it, also 1988. Well, you know, I like it. Last time I showed you this CD I got, DVD, I don't know what you call it. Anyway, they call it a DVD, and I think of it as movies, but you put this in your computer. So that's why it confuses me. I paid like $40 for this. 43, maybe something like that. It is worth every penny. There are so many beautiful charts in here. When I got this thinking, oh, I'm gonna, find a few charts in there. I'm like, for sure. This is 80 issues of sampler and antique needlework on CD. You just scroll down. You see every page. You can read the magazine like online. This sells for $50, but if you love samplers and you never subscribed to this magazine, just go get it. It's every issue from 1991 to 2015, and it's awesome. Like I've started to say this when I was showing it last time, I read something on there that confused me, and I thought maybe this is just the magazine and they don't have charts in it. They just show old samplers, and they do show old samplers, but they have a lot of charts in it. I'm just going to show you a couple that I saw and liked and printed. And keep in mind, I paid, like I said, I think it was $43. The retail price is, it says on the back, is $49.99 US. That's one of them. I love the frame. I love everything about that. I want to find a frame just like that. This one's kind of cut off because it's in 2 pages in the magazine, but look at that giraffe. I have to do that. I never met anything patriotic I didn't like. And let's get that eagle on there. Got me with the eagle. I'm not crazy about the angels or cherubs on there. When I stitch that, I might leave that off. I know some people really love the angels and cherubs, and I'm a Christian person, and angels are cool, but I just don't like them in my stitching. I also don't like the Adam and Eve samplers. I don't know. I just don't like them. I should maybe that's kind of strong saying I don't like them. I don't want to stitch them. I have seen them and think that they're beautiful, but it's not something I really am drawn to and want to stitch. This, I believe, is some of those are reproductions. This one, I think, is a new design. I love that. It's called the Rhode Island Sampler. Then, this is the Black Miniature Sampler. Some of these have been released. As separate charts. This is a Dover sampler. I have an old magazine from the 70s, and it has a sampler that's huge, but it's done on this dark green and it has those same funky trees on it. But I don't think it's the same exact one. I think it's a lot bigger than this one. And it's one of them in the magazine. I saved the magazine just because of that. So one of those is going to get stitched, but I don't know. When I tried a dark green like that before, it wasn't good. This one I know has been released separately, Anthony's sampler. And every time I see it, I think I've got to stitch that. I love it. I just love it. Sampler treasure box. I love that too. Look at the door, how they do the door opens. So cool. This one's been released. Somebody I watched was working on this, and I'm trying to remember who. I think it was an older video from the Striped Rose. Is her name Michelle? I think she's the one that was working on it. Isabella Johnstone. Love that. Love that cow. This is another one. Every time I see it, I want to stitch it. This is called the Jane Tomlinson sampler. Part of it's cut off. I'm just going to show you the first page. Then this is another one I love. It reminds me of a tapestry I have hanging over my fireplace. It's the EF sampler. And that cow and that maiden that's almost the same scene pictured on the tapestry that's over my fireplace. I'll have to show it to you sometime. The tapestry hung over my the fireplace in my childhood home as long as I can remember. And when my mother was downsizing, that's what everybody wanted. That was the first thing. I said, I want this tapestry. This is called a Stitchy Peacock Sampler, ASSISI. I just love those colors, and I collect blue willow china, so I was like, that could be in my house for sure. So all those charts were printed off that CD. I mean, that's why I say it is so worth your money. Don't hesitate to buy this. I have some haul, and let me show you. I'm going to show you. This is the latest thing I got. I bought it off Facebook Marketplace, and I normally don't buy things off Facebook Marketplace. I'm trying to meet up with somebody, and I know when I've sold things on there before, it's always a hassle meeting them. They don't show, they change their mind, all that stuff. But I was the buyer this time, and we arranged a time and met, wasn't a problem. But they listed these things on there on Facebook Marketplace, and they were, you could buy them by each or buy the whole lot of 20 of them. And I was like, I don't want to do a 20. I know what I can do with 2. So I just got 2. Well, I have to do a little work on them. They're eagle. They're iron eagles. And these were snow dogs off a slate roof in Pennsylvania. That's what the man told me. I was trying to get as much history on them as I could. And he had never heard of those before. Well, let's set all these down. Anybody who's lives where you get snow, you maybe know what they are. They were only used on. Well, actually, I went to the internet and I did find that you can buy modern ones now. And I had seen them before. This is the one I had seen. I'd seen these kind before. And they go on your roof, and they keep the snow and ice from falling. Well, Mom had something that looked kind of like this, and she played this game one time. I don't remember who the group of people were, but it was ladies group, Homemakers Association or something like that. She always had games. Well, Mom did this game, which y'all probably seen before. I've done it as an adult for different events that I've had. And you put a whole bunch of things on a tray, and you take it around for everybody to see. And then you take the tray away where nobody can see it, and you tell them to write down as many things as they can remember that were on that tray. And whoever remembers the most gets the prize. Well, she put one of these. I remember her putting one of these on there, and that's how I learned what they were. I'd never heard of them before. And the man that sold them, I could tell he was a Southern man by his accent. And he said he got it from a man who said they came off a slate roof of an old house in Pennsylvania. Well, these were utilitarian. As the snow and ice starts to melt, you don't want it to all come off in one piece. I mean, if a giant piece of ice slides off your roof and hits you, that could really hurt you. But these keep them up there so they come down in small pieces. And small pieces aren't so bad. So he's like, why would you want to leave the ice on your roof? I said, well, I think it just kept it from coming down in big pieces. And so I'm just going to brush these up, clean them up a little bit, and then decide I'll probably spray paint them black. I'm sure that's what they were originally. I'm going to use mine as bookends. The man who sold them said, oh, I kept a couple for my wife. She's using them as like a thing at the end of the curtain rod. I don't know what you would call that. I don't know. The end of a curtain rod, you would have these. He had a name for it. I can't think of the name now. When he said that, I thought, wow, that's a good idea. Maybe I should buy more, but I don't need more. But they have a neat story with them, and they're unusual. So I got those. Then I never told you what I got for Mother's Day. And it was kind of funny because about a week or two before Mother's Day, I know a lady that sells things in a local like antique mall. And she has one in the town I live in and in the next town over. And she's got a lot of cool things. And she and her husband travel all over, and they go, picking, and to resell. And she had this for sale, and she'll post on Facebook every week or two, just a few little snapshots of items that she has in her booth, or maybe something new she has. Well, this wasn't real old, but she showed a picture of this. Part of the tag. And that's how she had the tag title, and I just left it there. And I saw it. I love old crockery like this. This, like I said, this one's not real old. This is a false graph piece. And when you see it in person, you can tell that's what it is. When I saw it online, I didn't really know what it was, but when I saw it in person and I looked up what the numbers meant, that's what it is. But I love the eagle on it. I commented on somebody's Instagram post. I think maybe it was Facebook. I never met a Patriotic chart I didn't like, and that's true. And I love everything Patriotic. You can tell by we're kind of eagle themed today. And I saw that picture, and I screenshot it, and I sent it to my kids in a group text and said, "This would make a lovely Mother's Day present." And I was kind of joking, but kind of serious. And I know they don't know what to buy from me. If they went in the antique mall, they would be like, I don't know what Mom wants. So the three of them got together. They got that for me, plus a gift certificate to that antique mall. So I went in about a week later and got a couple of things. And there's one thing I've been looking for, that of all the stuff that my mother had, all the glassware that she had, including some milk glass, she did not have one of these. But I found one of these at a reasonable price. I don't have pretty scissors in them. I have a really old pair that were my mom's, and then some that I use. I think this came from a gift exchange from somebody here in South Carolina. And these are super sharp scissors. But you've all seen those, and you can make the pin cushion to go in the middle, which I'll probably do. So I got that with my gift certificate. Then I got, they would have never known I wanted one of those. Never. Then I got this, and they're like, what is that, Mom? It's an old hat mold, and I needed something to display my derby. This is a derby that I wore many, many Halloweens. It's an antique derby. Came from an expensive place in Washington, D.C. back in the day. Probably has the initials WLR in it. Don't know who that is. But what's it say? Brotz. B-R-O-D. I need my glasses. BRODTS. 2 times quality. Washington, D.C. So that's the manufacturers in Washington, D.C. So it's a little big for it, but it still displays it. And like I said, I wore this. It's starting to wear here. This was used so many times. We were hobos a lot for Halloween. Most Halloweens growing up, we didn't go anywhere except across the street to my grandmother's house and maybe next door to my uncle's house. That was it. We might go to 1 or 2 neighbors, but not normally. And but we wore that hat so much, and I talked about it before in one of my Halloween videos, I think. And my mother collected antique clothes. She had a lot of hats, a lot of old dresses. She had some that went back to like around 1900 probably, maybe a little earlier, that were so tiny. The waists of those women were so tiny for being corseted. And wow. Anyway, that was about the only thing that she kept from her collection. I got this little box because I just liked it. It's hand painted. The peachy color, I don't know, it probably doesn't, I don't know if it matches anything I have really, but I just liked it. I have a thing about wooden boxes. I have a lot of them. It's a problem. It's a problem. So, let's see. Did I tell you about everything that I got? So anyway, those 3 things only spend about half my gift certificate. So I have more shopping I can do. I'm going to wait till they get a bunch more stuff in, and then I'll go check them out again. Oh, I think that is about it for my stitching. As far as Stitchy Plans, I want to finish up that 420 Blackbirds. I'm probably just going to work real hard on getting that done and go ahead and get my July piece done. June, I still haven't hung up at work, but I'm pretty much done at work for the summer. I'll go back mid-July, but I do have just one thing I have to do tomorrow. So I'm going to run in there before Bible school tomorrow. We have Bible school this week, and been busy. And what's I going to say? I just totally lost my train of thought. Oh, when I go into work tomorrow, I'll have the June thing finished to put up on my door. So I had it done the evening of June 1st, but I haven't fully finished it yet, and it's the 8th of June. So I just have a lot going on, and that's what I guess I'll share with you next is my life update. And I really try and keep everything positive here, but not everything's been positive going on. So I had a good and bad weekend last weekend. My grandsons were here, and we spent time with them, and they came over and swam with us and stuff. We had a good time in the pool, and they loved it so much. It was a little chilly. It had stormed and rained a lot, so the pool was cold. And at one point, they were like shivering. Their teeth were chattering, and their looked like their teeth were getting blue. I was like, you boys have to get out. They're like, no. I said, you have to get out, get warmed up. They didn't come till late afternoon after their nap. And late afternoon, most of our pool's shaded. You know, if it's a circle this big, about this much of it is in the sun, late afternoon, early evening. And so we were all kind of standing in the sunny area because it was cool. Once the temperatures get up a little bit, we're going to enjoy that shade because the sun can just be too much. We all burn so much, and we like to enjoy the pool. But I had so then Sunday I went with my daughter-in-law to take the boys back to their mom, and that's a drive takes a while to take them back. And my son had to work that day, and my daughter-in-law is 6 months pregnant. I just really didn't want her to have to go by herself. So I went with them to went with her to take them back on Sunday. I'm sorry, y'all. A text message came through when I looked at it, and I shouldn't have. I got to turn my phone over. I can't do two things at once. I can't text and talk, or text and walk, or read a text and walk. Can't do any of that. And I obviously can't talk and read at the same time. So that was at the weekend with the boys and in the pool and all that. Then Sunday I was off because it was Memorial Day weekend. This is 2 weeks ago. And I decided I would go that morning to see my mom because I normally see her on Sundays, and I couldn't because I was taking the boys back to their mom. So I went to see my mom about lunchtime, and that's when my sister normally goes. I go a little later in the day, and those visits haven't been going real well later in the day. So I thought, since I'm off, I'm going to try and go earlier, and I'll help her with her lunch. She needs a little help now with that. I'm sorry, y'all. I take medicine, it makes my mouth dry, and it's bad this morning. So I went earlier to see my mom, and her lunch was an hour late getting there. Everybody's lunch was late. I think the kitchen was short-staffed because it was Memorial Day. So when her food finally came, I fed her lunch, but I couldn't hardly get her to engage in any conversation. She was just kind of looking at the wall. And that's kind of how the visits have been going lately. That one was particularly bad. And so I was pretty upset after the visit, and I spent 3 hours there with her, and she said maybe 2 or 3 sentences that made any sense. So while I was there, her roommate, who was really good health, my sister and I kind of wondered why she was even there when my mom first moved in with her. But she fell and hurt herself and hit her head, and I think she's okay, but she's in a lot of pain still. They thought she broke her tailbone, but I think it turned out not to be. But she was already complaining of a lot of hip pain from arthritis before that. She got where she was crying in bed. But before that, she would get up. This lady would pick out her outfit. She'd put on jewelry. She'd do her makeup, do all that every day. My mom was not doing any of that anymore. But that lady, since she fell, she's looks like she's aged 15 years and hasn't gotten out of bed. It's really sad. But her daughter called the room while I was there and asked how her mom was, and I told her, and she said, I've just had to. She said, I feel so bad, but I've had to limit my visits. I'm not coming as much because it's just taking a toll on me and my health. And I said, I understand that. My sister and I were just talking about it, and that it's just, you're not doing anything physical, but just mentally, it just totally drains you. So after that visit, I was really upset and down, and I said, I'm going out to pool eats. I don't care what my back does. I even have a coffee mug, travel mug that my son got me a few years back that says, gardening's cheaper than therapy and you get tomatoes. And it's true. I love that it's therapy for me. My son did a bunch of yard work. He's getting ready to go to the police academy in a couple days, and his wife's expecting. And so he was trying to get all the bushes, hedges cut, do all of the yard work that needed to be done before he goes. And he sent me a text because he was coming over. He said, I lost track of time. And showed me a picture of what he did. He said, I don't know why you do this for fun. He said, this is not fun. But I got a lot of weeding done that day, and it was therapy for me, and I felt much better. And after I did a bunch of weeding, I went and jumped in the pool. I came home from the nursing home, and I put my bathing suit on and put my gardening pants over it, so that when I'm done and I'm hot, I could just take off my pants and jump in the pool. And so my daughter was there. She was doing some homework by the pool and getting in and out and working on her college work. And so I got in with her, and we were having a good time. We always play some kind of game, like we were playing name a movie character, I think it was. And we go through the alphabet, I do A, she does B, C. We go back and forth, and we'll just do different things like that while we're floating, just not to be in silence. So we were enjoying the pool, and while I was in the garden pulling weeds, my husband was cutting grass. He was on the riding mower. Well, he got done and parked it and stuff before I got in the pool. And after I'd been in there a while, he came out and he said I had to call 911. He said, my chest has been hurting for an hour. It won't stop. So we both immediately jump out of the pool. And I grab a towel, but I just run through the house. And I'm barking orders and telling my daughter, I said, don't worry about tracking water through the house. Just go to the front door and let them in when they get here. And I ran in my room and trying to put clothes on because I know they're going to take him by ambulance to the hospital. I knew it. Chest pain for an hour, they don't mess around with that. So I got dressed as fast as I could. My hair was up in a bun where I had been working in the garden and then jumped in the pool. My hair too was wet. And you know how hard it is to put your clothes on when you're not fully dry. Like your underwear want to roll up and stuff. I'm trying to get dressed as quick as I can. It's not going well. It's like my clothes are getting stuck on me trying to get them on. But I got dressed before EMS got here, and actually they sent I don't know if they always do this everywhere, but they sent the fire truck and the ambulance, I guess, so whoever got here fastest. And the fire truck got here first. And the guys came in. I knew one of the guys. He's married to a girl that used to go to our church. And they hooked him up to a heart monitor, and it wasn't reading well. And then the ambulance got there and got here into my house. And one of the EMTs is the son of my sister-in-law's boyfriend. That doesn't even sound right. My sister-in-law and this man, she's about my age, have been living together for many years. I want to say 15 years. It might be longer than that. And it's his son. So, he's come over for Christmas stuff at my house and all before. Anyway, he was one of the EMTs, and they took him in, and they said, you can't ride in the ambulance. That's something that hasn't changed since COVID, but you can follow us there, and they'll let you back in. So I get to the emergency room, and I go to the security desk and tell them my husband was just brought in by ambulance, and he said, let me check on it. Be just a minute. Have a seat over here. Okay. So, of course, they want to me to check at the other desk to register, make sure he's registered. And so I did all that, filling out the forms or whatever. They really just had me sign a couple forms. I think because our family doctor, is part of the same group that owns the hospital. And I thought, they're not going to let me back here. I've got my purse, and I watched them taking cell phones and keys from people, keeping them in the security desk while they go back and see somebody that's in the ER. You're allowed to have one person with you, or two people with you. And I thought, oh, gosh, I can't believe I'm going to have to run back to the car and put this down and come back and then give him my keys. But finally, after 30 minutes, he said I could go back. And they didn't take my purse or anything. I don't know if they knew he was going to be admitted, so I would need stuff. But I'm sure it was for security reasons, because they were trying to, wrestle with somebody before I went back there. Anyway, so they had shocked his heart trying to get back into a normal rhythm in the ambulance. It didn't work. So luckily, a good cardiologist was on call, and he's the best in our town. And I've heard so many good things about him, both before and after this. So he said that he would do a heart cath, and they took him back and did the heart cath, and then they called from the cath lab to the cath waiting room, and I'm the only person there. There's nobody at the desk. Half the lights were off when I went in there, and because it was a holiday, it was skeleton staff working at the hospital. And I guess the cath lab, they don't have that going, open for business every day. It's probably just mainly appointments. But anyway, they called me and said they did find, she said, a lesion, and Dr. Kim's going to fix it. And I said, they found a what? She said, a lesion. So I was like, okay. She said, it'll be about 20 minutes. So I'm getting on my phone figuring out what that is. And I figure out it's a blockage. And they treat it with a stent most of the time. So the doctor came out, and he said, we called a surgeon, and we really thought we were going to need to do surgery. He had a small blockage in one artery and another blockage in one of the main arteries that they call the Widowmaker. And he said it was only half his heart was working. He came in, and he said, but I was able to get the clot out that was there and put in 2 stents, and to avoid surgery. And we think he's going to be okay. Of course, he's going to be admitted. So my husband spent 2 nights in the ICU. They didn't have any cardiac patients because they have a CICU. Since they didn't have many of those patients, they just combined their staff into one area. So it was really the CICU nurses were in the ICU, and the staff was fabulous. Everybody was so nice and did such a good job with what they did. They were wonderful. The second night, they were going to try and move him to a regular room, but there weren't any available on the floor he would need to go to, which is like a post-surgery floor. And so we ended up staying in ICU 2 nights, and that was fine because we had great care there. Really didn't want or need anything. They brought everything to us before we needed it. So, but it was pretty scary. My husband came home. We just had a follow-up this morning with the doctor, which is where I did that stitching. that little line of stitching was started on July piece. And he got, a pretty good report. He can drive now, which he's happy about, and do normal activity. And I said, well, his normal activity is cutting grass. Can he cut the grass again? And she said, yeah. But if you have pain, you got your nitroglycerin put under your tongue, and kind of scary stuff. Of course, they tell him to watch his salt intake and his fat intake with food. So he's trying to watch that. He's never been a label reader, never never. If you needed to lose weight, he would just cut stuff out, like, oh, I'm not going to have any more candy bars or something like that. Because he would. They asked him today. I'll say it quietly so he doesn't hear me. They asked him today if he ate a lot of sweets, and he's like, no, not really. And I'm like, because he would hide them. He'd think nobody knew it was there. And I always knew when he had sweets, but I wasn't a big sweet eater, so I wasn't trying to steal his stash, you know. Anyway, so he's doing very well. It was a blessing. You know, he had just had a stress test like 10 days before this, and it was kind of inconclusive, is what he said. They wanted to do a CT of his heart, and I just thought this was routine. He's 61. He's never done a stress test. They've done the nuclear stress test where they're just operating your heart for you, but not the kind where you run on a treadmill. This is the first time he had one of those. But I thought it was just routine. No, he'd been having some chest pains, a couple of other episodes, but didn't tell me about it. So I had to fuss at him a little bit for that. And when he came in after mowing the grass Memorial Day, the day of his heart attack, he got off the mower because his chest was hurting so bad. He drove the mower right past me where I was pulling weeds and parked it in the shed and went in the house. Never said a word to me or anybody. So he's got to quit doing that because, you know, he was having a heart attack, and he was having what they call the widowmaker heart attack. And if they hadn't gotten here in time, the ambulance, you know, he kept saying before they arrived, I'm going to be embarrassed if it's just gas or reflux or something that, you know, that's causing this pain. And I said, you don't have to worry. He said, like, my arm's not hurting or anything. It was just the dead center of his chest that hurt. So I did put something out on Instagram about it, that you don't have to have left arm pain or center chest pain. I know women have totally different symptoms for a heart attack, but men normally have that arm pain and stuff. You don't have to be having a heart attack. Call the doctor or get to a doctor if you are having symptoms like that. It's nothing to mess around with. He was very close to not being here today. Very close. So that's been stressful, and I missed time from work at a terrible time. I missed time from work, and you hate to even think about that. You shouldn't be thinking about that, but you do, you know, because I knew people were going to have to do my job, which normally when I'm out they don't. You know, it just waits till I get back. But in this case, we had some deadlines and stuff with seniors that were graduating, and anyway, it was just a bad time to be out. And then we had Bible school this week, started Sunday. And of course, I'd signed up way before any of this happened. And I'm doing crafts, and it hadn't been bad, but it's been a week. It's been very stressful. And I've gotten some messages and emails from people, you know, telling me that, you know, they're praying for Chris, and I really do appreciate that. It really meant a lot that you know, thought enough to take time to send me a message or comment about that. A lot of people have just been telling me, take care of myself. Take care of yourself. Take care of yourself. My sister-in-law, my husband's sister, she's a nurse at the hospital. So she was actually coming on shift when he was going down the hall to the cath lab. And she saw him and said a few words to him, and she was crying and upset. I didn't cry at all that day or when he was in the hospital because my children were so upset. And when they get upset, I just have to be strong, you know, for them. So, you know, it hit me late, you know, how bad it could have been. I don't want to get upset here. But, you know, my sister-in-law was real upset and crying, and my kids have each had their moments where they were real upset, and I've had my moments too, but I appreciate you all worrying about me. It is stressful. StitchCon is kind of up in the air right now. I don't know if I'm going to go. It was a pretty good report from the doctor today, and I feel like I'd be okay going. I really do, which sounds crazy to be 10 days away from a major heart attack, and he's in such good shape because he didn't have to have surgery because they caught it when they did. It's because we had a fantastic doctor, because not every doctor could have done what he did. He does have another blockage, a smaller one. They said it's not a big deal. It's been there a very long time. He said he probably thought he had heartburn or something when that was blocked. So I'm still preparing like I'm going to StitchCon. I have my small exchange and my floss drops to exchange. Earlier this morning I was punching holes in those. I need to get those done. And if I don't feel good about it, if he's not doing real well, doesn't look well, he shows it. You can tell in his color. I won't go. But if he's doing pretty good, continues to improve like he is, then I'm planning to go because I need this time for me. I was looking forward to this time for me because of everything with my mom, really. But, I think I need to get away and just try and have fun. So, I'm planning to go, but, plans may change. I'm leaving it up in the air. It's about 1 o'clock Wednesday afternoon. This is probably going to get posted until that's in a really country. This probably isn't going to be posted until Thursday, but there's a thunderstorm coming in right now. If you hear any thunder, hearing weird noises right now, I don't know if it will pick up on this video or not. But that's about it. I don't know if I will post any more before StitchCon. I'm thinking no. I probably will make a little video about my small exchange before I take it, so you all can see what I prepared. I mean, you kind of saw what I was making, and I'm sure you have enough imagination to kind of figure out what I was going to do with it, but I don't want to actually show it until, after we do the exchange there. So, I hope you all are having a great June. And, well, I would like to say y'all have a great summer. Some of you may be working, but enjoy your summer weather for those of you who are in this part of the world. And I guess I will go for now. And I will see you probably after StitchCon. Unless I have a lot to show you, it'll be after StitchCon. And like I said, I plan to, a couple of those samplers, that's what I'm going to tell you, another stitching thing. A couple of those samplers I showed you that I printed off that CD, I think are the ones I'm going to kit up at Keepsakes and start stitching. So, I'm going to take them with me anyway as an option. I want to buy a lot of fabric. I hope they have a lot by the time I go this weekend. Hope they set some stuff aside and they don't have out so all the A people can't get it all. I'm just kidding. All right, I'll see y'all later.